Hello everybody, just wanted to make an announcement. This Sunday we will not be having our regular Sunday gathering. We will stream our sermon again online. That seemed to go pretty well last week. Hopefully this week it will go well again. But if you've been in the congregation for a while, you know that I don't like to read long texts all in one sitting. Sometimes you kind of have to. But this week is another one of those weeks where you have to read a lot in one setting. So to kind of help alleviate that a little bit, what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to actually read the text beforehand. I'm going to read it for you now, and you'll be ready for the sermon on Sunday. This Sunday we're continuing our sermon series, The Return from Exile, and we've talked about why we're doing these different books and why we're doing them all together. We're actually going to go back to Ezra this week, and we're going to be in Ezra chapter 5, starting in verse 1, going through chapter 6, verse 13. And this is a question for the king. All this text kind of goes together. It's why I'm keeping it together. Unfortunately, that means it is a big chunk. So let's go ahead and get into it. Starting in verse 1, it says, "But when the prophets Haggai and Zechariah, son of Iddo, prophesied to the Jews who were in Judah and Jerusalem in the name of God of Israel who was over them, Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, and Jeshua, son of Jozadak, began to rebuild God's house in Jerusalem. The prophets of God were with them, helping them. At that time, Tattenai, the governor of the region west of the Euphrates River, Shethar-bozenai, and their colleagues came to the Jews and asked, 'Who gave you the order to rebuild this temple and finish this structure?' They also asked them, 'What are the names of the workers who are constructing this building?' But God was watching over the Jewish elders. These men wouldn't stop them until a report was sent to Darius so that they could receive written instructions about this matter." This is the text of the letter that Tattenai, the governor of the region west of the Euphrates River, Shethar-bozenai, and their colleagues, the officials in the region, sent to King Darius. They sent him a report written as follows. "To King Darius, all greetings. Let it be known to the king that we went to the house of the great God in the province of Judah. It is being built with cut stones, and its beams are being set in the walls. This work is being done diligently and succeeding through the people's efforts. So we questioned the elders and asked, 'Who gave you the order to rebuild this temple and finish this structure?' We also asked them for their names so that we could write down the names of their leaders for your information. This is the reply they gave us. 'We are the servants of the God of the heavens and the earth, and we are rebuilding the temple that was built many years ago, which a great king of Israel built and finished. But since our fathers angered the God of the heavens, and he handed them over to King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon, the Chaldean, who destroyed this temple and deported the people to Babylon. However, in the first year of King Cyrus of Babylon, he issued a decree to rebuild the house of God. He also took from the temple in Babylon the gold and silver articles of God's house that Nebuchadnezzar had taken from the temple in Jerusalem and carried them to the temple in Babylon. He released them from the temple in Babylon to a man named Sheshbazzar, the governor by appointment of King Cyrus. Cyrus told him, 'Take these articles, put them in the temple in Jerusalem, and let the house of God be rebuilt on its original site.' Then this same Sheshbazzar came and laid the foundation of God's temple in Jerusalem. It has been under construction from that time until now, but it has not been completed. So if it pleases the king, let a search of the royal archives in Babylon be conducted to see if it is true that a decree was issued by King Cyrus to rebuild the house of God in Jerusalem. Let the king's decision regarding this matter be sent to us." Starting in chapter 6, King Darius gave the order, and they searched in the library of Babylon in the archives. But it was in the fortress of Ecbatana, in the province of Media, that a scroll was found with this record written on it. In the first year of King Cyrus, he issued a decree concerning the house of God in Jerusalem. "Let the house be rebuilt as a place for offering sacrifices, and let its original foundations be retained. Its height is to be 90 feet, and its width 90 feet, with it 3 layers of cut stones and 1 of timber. The cost is to be paid from the royal treasury. The gold and silver articles of God's house that Nebuchadnezzar took from the temple in Jerusalem and carried to Babylon must also be returned. They are to be brought to the temple in Jerusalem, where they belong, and put into the house of God. Therefore, you must stay away from that place, Tattenai, governor of the region of west of the Euphrates River, Shethar-bozenai, and your colleagues, the officials in the region. Leave the construction of the house of God alone. let the governor and the elders of the Jews rebuild this house of God on its original site. I hereby issue a decree concerning what you are to do, so that the elders of the Jews can rebuild the house of God. The cost is to be paid in full to the men out of the royal revenues from the taxes of the region west of the Euphrates River, so that the work will not stop. Whatever is needed, young bulls, rams, and lambs for burnt offerings to the God of the heavens, or wheat, salt, wine, and oil, as requested by the priests in Jerusalem. Let it be given to them every day without fail, so that they can offer sacrifices of pleasing aroma to the God of the heavens and pray for the life of the king and his sons. I also issue a decree concerning any man who interferes with this directive. Let a beam be torn from his house and raised up. He will be impaled on it, and his house will be made into a garbage dump because of this offense. May the God who caused his name to dwell there overthrow any king or people who dares to harm or interfere with this house of God in Jerusalem. I, Darius, have issued the decree. Let it be carried out diligently. Then Tattenai, governor of the region west of the Euphrates River, Shethar-Bozenai, and their colleagues diligently carried out what King Darius had decreed. So that's the text for this Sunday morning. I know it was a lot, and that's why I didn't want to do it on Sunday morning. We'll go through and we'll break it apart and talk about it. You'll hear what I think the message that God has for us in that. Hopefully, you'll get to hear it Sunday morning. Tune in with us while we stream live. Thank you.